cash on my cash stack. High yields on stable coins, yeah, that's where my bag at. All I really need is Wi-Fi, get money on DeFi, mega cash on MetaMask. You better run when the runners run, show you how to get your money up. Dollar inflated like bubble gum, markets are jumping like double dutch. Buying up gold till I get a ton, crypto, yeah, I got some. You better run when the runners run, you better run when the runners run.
Welcome in, everyone. You're running with the runners. It's Tuesday, July 9th, 2024. Tonight, we're going to show you guys how to win no matter what. Turn your fear into power. That's what we're about. Let me get my good brother in here. Ricardo Hamilton, a.k.a. M.I.M.S. Making it make sense, brother. What's going down?
It's good, brother. Fired up and excited as always. Bring the value and information that we got to the community. I'm doing good, brother. How are you?
Man, absolutely amazing. Excited to see you this week. We're going to have some fun down in Phoenix. Shout out to our boy, Travis Flaherty. Excited to see you, man. But yeah, I mean, life's good. And we're just going to keep getting more assets and helping more people.
Facts. Facts.
So, Ricardo, we had a little disagreement today. We were kind of going back and forth about what are we going to talk about tonight? What should people be focused on? So I want to start off the stream with a little clip just to kind of set the scene of where we're at in this economic turmoil, right? You know, we have massive inflation. We have, you know, wars kind of all over. We have a president who can barely talk or make a coherent sentence. We have the election coming up. You know, crypto had a pretty big crash this week. So it's like, what should we focus on? And what is going on in this world and how should people view it? So we're going to kind of have a little debate tonight. You know, nothing, we're not, you know, get angry, but, you know, play a little devil's advocate and maybe just present some different perspectives on what might happen and the solutions that you guys can do to make sure you win, no matter if things are great and the economy keeps going up or, you know, something really negative happens and, you know, all hell breaks loose.
Right.
As I pull this up, M.I.M.S, anything you want to do to just kind of frame what we're going to talk about tonight?
Yeah, I mean, so right now where we are is in this, like, you know, quasi, like, it's like this twilight zone. We're in this middle period, you know what I mean? Like, we don't know what's going to happen, but we know something's going to happen. And whatever that is that's going to happen, we want to make sure that we're prepared for, regardless of, you know, each end of the extreme of, you know, what can take place. So we're looking at all the data. We're looking at, you know, all the statistics and everything that's, you know, the narratives and the agendas. And we're trying to figure out, you know, the best way to play it, you know, and the safest way to play it. And that's what we were, you know, we're going to talk about and what we continue to do and help people get in position.
Yeah, and so for everyone that's watching, whether you're live now or you watch the replay, no matter what, go ahead and let us know your concerns. Like, what are you most worried about? Is it inflation? Is it paying your bills? Is it debt? Is it immigration? Is it, you know, the collapse of a government or the dollar? Whatever it is, let us know, you know, what you guys are concerned about, and we can kind of maybe address that as we have this conversation.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just going to play this video and then we'll talk about it after because it kind of blew my mind when I saw it. So this video went viral on TikTok in the last week. This is a stitch of it, you know, that has Bitcoin in the bottom. The Bitcoin wasn't there in his original thing, but you'll see what he's talking about here.
I'm gonna be sick. I just, like, looked through my Walmart history and I found this, like, Walmart order from 2 years ago for the whole month worth of groceries. 45 items cost $126. A whole month of groceries just for me, basically. But
okay, so $126, guys. $126. He ordered 2 years ago from his Walmart app. Here's what he found out.
I did notice this reorder all button, and I wanted to see how much it would cost now. Now, this order of 45 items for 1 month would have cost $414. That is 4 times more. How the fuck? How? Like, what?
So M.I.M.S, this is kind of your first time seeing this, but to go from $124 2 years ago to
Mm,
now the same items, $414.
yeah.
I know you can't make that make sense, but explain why and how this happened.
Yeah, it's crazy because, at the same time you have, the government and their puppets telling you that inflation is low, and that, they make it seem like they have everything under control. But literally, they don't count food inflation. There's certain things that they take out when they're presenting this data to you to make it seem like everything is fine. No need to worry. But that's alarming. This is what we talk about when we talk about this inflation. I mean, we're talking about you went from $100-something to almost $400-something. I think that's a major concern. That was just for himself. There are people out here like ourselves with families, and kids, and some people on fixed incomes, and so it's even worse. But that literally is a reality. Rising cost, rising debt. Okay, and I was shocked to see that myself, and I bet if some people do that right now themselves and look at some of their orders that they've ordered in the past, they'll see just how significantly those same items have increased. And it should be a sticker shock because that's a trend, and it's gonna get worse.
Yeah, and so that's kind of what we were talking about, right? Is Ricardo, he gets on TikTok more than I do. And he gets a little, I call it fear porn. All right. He's like, Mike, the dollar's gonna collapse, we're gonna have war, all this crazy stuff's gonna happen. And I understand why he believes that. I said, Ricardo, I'm concerned as well. But again, there's always been those fears and concerns. The question is, and we could do that. Like if we wanted to talk about all the negative things going on in the world for the next hour and scare you and freak you out, we could do that.
Yeah.
But we want to bring you the facts, but we want to bring you some
Solution.
solutions as well. Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, M.I.M.S, maybe break it down. And
Mm-hmm.
people who follow us know about this stuff, I hope. So
Yeah.
maybe some of your concerns that you see happening with interest rates, the economy, kind of give
Right.
your perspective, and then I can kind of, give you mine, and then we'll move on and watch some highlight video clips tonight.
Yeah. So me and Mike talk, and we capture some moments that are magic when we're really breaking down and trying to figure this thing out, and then how we can bring it to the people. And so we're having this discussion, and we're looking at what's going on, where the economy is right now, and some people are saying that the Federal Reserve is going to cut rates, and and I'm presenting from what I'm seeing, it's just hard to imagine what the Federal Reserve is going to do, because to me they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. And people have to understand that the United States having a world reserve currency, one of the issues that came out of Bretton Woods was called the trifling dilemma. And it was the country that has the world reserve currency, and the issue that it creates because they have a domestic issue, or a domestic, the domestic policy that they need to satisfy, and they have an international obligation that they need to satisfy, right? And so I was saying that the Federal Reserve needs to keep the Federal Reserve note. The dollar has to be credible, has to be stable. And if they just continue to, cut rates, it's going to create all type of inflation. The world is already moving away from the dollar, making bilateral trade agreements. So I was saying that we might not see the type of rate cuts that people want to see here in the U.S. Sure, it might give us a brief stimulation in our economy, all right, because that creates more liquidity, and that they equate that to growth, but really that's more debt. And so just like what Mike showed that video earlier, where the items went from $100 to over $400, that's when you're getting that stimulus money. That is that stimulus. That is the increase. That's the inflation. So it's a catch-22. It's they're giving you something with one hand, but they're taking with the other. If they lower interest rates and credit liquidity, but the inflation, because the loss in purchasing power of the dollar, while at the same time for the dollar to have its status and credibility around the world, they can't just hyperinflate this currency and print it to oblivion. They have to make it look like they have some kind of stability and some type of mechanisms to give and keep the value of the United States dollar. So I don't think that we might see rates cut the way we think. I think that the Federal Reserve, to maintain credible on an international scale, for the dollar to remain credible on an international scale, we could see that they don't cut rates. And either way, it's bad for the U.S. economy, because if they don't, cut rates, then there's liquidity crisis. Banks and institutions are already insolvent. Small businesses are feeling it right now. We already have, massive unemployment getting ready to come here as well. Overvalued market. So there's a lot of dynamics, but a lot of this is contingent on, what the Fed does with interest rates, and there's only so many things, obviously, that they can do. They control inflation and they control employment. And we know that we are in a overheated market. We know that the FDIC has come out and said that banks are insolvent due to their exposure to the commercial real estate market. And we're hearing more layoffs are coming. And in fact, I believe the employment data, a lot of these jobs are government jobs. And so they're fudging these numbers and making it seem like the economy's doing well, when really it's not. And then, so right now it's fine, but when, shit hits the fan, things could come down, pretty fast and hard. And so that's why, I was looking for risk off assets, because while this is going on, you have risk on, which is stocks. Everything is risky and speculative out there. That's, what we were kind of getting to as well. Everything is stocks, crypto, real estate, artwork, you name it. Because you can look at 2008 and when the market crashed, everything went down. But the only safe haven asset, okay, that's a risk off, that was a zero risk asset, is physical silver and gold.
Nailed it.
Only thing that I could come down to, when I understand that when this debt bubble, when this thing crashes like in 2008, except it's going to be way worse, everything was speculative and everything went down. Stocks, bonds, real estate, mutual, you name it, 401ks, but it was gold and silver that did well. And so when we looked at all the problems, it came down to that being, one of the solutions for everybody to be able to have something of value.
And listen, you are 100% accurate. I don't disagree with anything that you said. I think everyone needs to pay attention to all of those things, and that's what we're going to talk about in the solutions part. But I pushed back on that, and I said, you're absolutely right, Ricardo, but you're assuming we live in a free market, or that it's not controlled and manipulated. So again, we just saw a guy talk about how inflation was 400% in his Walmart bill. But if you look at the inflation that the government supposedly claims is happening, it's way lower. Around, I think our top was 8%.
Oh, okay, yeah.
9%. So they can rig and manipulate the numbers of inflation. You look at the stock market, is at an all-time high now. All markets are rigged and manipulated. It's the click of a mouse. Whether it's banks going, insolvent, the government can just come in and create as much money as they want. And obviously, debt has negative consequences in the inflation, but they can always fudge the numbers. And I said, Ricardo, it would be like playing Monopoly and being allowed to cheat, right? Ricardo might have, what's the best place on Monopoly? Boardwalk. Ricardo might own Boardwalk, and I land on it, and Ricardo's like, "Oh, you owe me $400." I'm like, "Oh, sorry, Ricardo. I just changed the rules. You now owe me $400." And that's what they're able to do in this environment. So here's what I would say is, maybe something bad will happen. I don't know, but I always like to pull out and look at the big picture. So here's the inflation rate from the United States from 1925 to today. And you can see it was way worse during World War II. It was way worse after World War II when we were trying to, get back to normalcy. It was way worse during the Vietnam War. It was way worse during stagflation and Jimmy Carter. All right. And we're coming back down. We're down to supposedly 3.5%. Again, that's not real, but those are the numbers.
Yeah,
that
because the way they calculated that data was way different back then.
Exactly, yeah. Which is accurate.
Yeah,
and then is inflation happening? Yeah. Are people's bills going up 400% from Walmart? Of course. But if you look at the Dixie, which is the US dollar index or the strength of the dollar, we pull out here, we're looking from 1971 to today. All right. And we're actually pretty high. The only other time it was higher was during the tech boom in the late 90s. That's this one that went up. And when Reagan came in and the economy was recovering from the stagflation from Carter, where it went way up there. So again, could something bad happen? Maybe. All right. But again, I don't like to live my life like that. I like to think positive, but also prepare. So let's, you know, get into the solutions tonight, right? Maybe something really bad happens in the future. We're going to prepare for that. If we continue
Yeah.
to kind of just do normal things with, inflation's up, stock market's up, whatever, they go down. If you follow a certain plan and you're consistent with it, you're going to win either way. So, spending your time worrying about what's going to happen in the future is just kind of to me, again, you know, completely useless.
Yeah. And
Mims, your response
yeah.
to that, and then I'll go ahead and pull up the next topic.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think that, that's what a lot of people are looking at, right now. There's two ends and, there's two extremes, on either side, because that's just how precarious the situation is. And at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're prepared regardless of what way it goes, that you come out on top, And so while you made some very good points, yes, this is a managed, rigged, and manipulated economy and market. There is no real price discovery for assets. At any point in time, they can create value from nothing and prop up markets. They can reinflate the debt bubble. They can export the debt overseas. But there are some dynamics that make this time very unique. Even though it is managed and manipulated, there are now pockets that are popping up globally, like BRICS and like international banking standards and rules being changed by the Bank of International Settlements and things like that, where we have capital requirements and rules of that we're changing, where a lot of the leverage and things that these banks could do, they're no longer going to be able to do. And, this is why I say, regardless of what goes on, because if you're in stocks, if you're in anything speculative, any speculative assets, we're in crypto and everything else, but it's still speculative. Stocks still speculative. I mean, everything else literally is still speculative. But when I look at silver and gold, right? And I pull up, and I don't know, Mike, you put that on the screen real quick. Yep. So when I look at, gold and silver, this is the price performance of gold and silver from 30 days up to, 20 years ago, right? So when we're talking about saving your money, not exposing it to risk, these are tier one assets. Now, even these markets right now are rigged and manipulated lower right now. These assets should be much higher, but even that is coming to a change. And so when I look at here as well, when we go down it used to go down like 2005, but right after the financial crisis, 2008, 2009, look at the gains that silver put on, 47%, 83%. So during this crisis, right after the crisis, what's going to emerge from that is the safety play, is the risk off assets, which is precious metals, silvers and gold, tier one asset, zero risk. Everything else is speculative, is going to crash. And then when you see these negatives here, this was just risk on environment. We made it past there, and now people are selling the safe haven assets so they can speculate into market and get greater yield, because obviously greater risk, greater reward. And if the market is stable or favorable enough for you to take some capital from safe investments and put it into more risk for the potential of more gain, then that's what you'll see. But now that where we are right now, here you can see in 2024, silver is putting on 30%.
Woo!
That's huge.
Yep.
Okay, so we're seeing a trend. Go ahead, Mike.
Oh no, I was just excited that
I mean,
that whole time again, in that 2020 47% is because of the COVID drop. But again, guys, this is why I don't care what's going to happen in the future. I know what is the truth and I know what is the lie. The truth is God's money. That's why we buy it every single month at least, and we continue to stack. I don't care what the dollar price is or they claim the dollar price is because I know the value of the actual asset, the actual metal.
Yeah.
I don't care what they say because I know it's all a lie.
And it's just like you pointed out a good point that I kind of missed myself. During COVID 2020, we saw it said what 47, was it 47%? I could pull it up. Yeah. In 2020, you know, silver was up 47%.
That's exactly what brought us together. Is when silver went down to like $12 an ounce, and I've been, you know, buying silver with the company. Like, bro, where are you getting your silver from? And that's kind of, you know, how we all started here.
Yep. Yeah. So we know we're giving solid advice. You know, the data says it. But one thing we do realize is that because it is a rigged and manipulated, managed market, no real price discovery for assets and things like that. The throat just got dry. But the data, apparently the data is irrelevant because it's rigged and manipulated. So now it's about the agenda. The agenda is greater than the data. And that agenda is being presented to the people who run the world, whether it's the economic, you know, forums or these major corporations or the 1% or the Rothschild, whoever you want to name it is, they're being presented agendas. Okay. And that is what is going to be how things go. The data is irrelevant because they're manipulating and rigging the data. They're going to agree on an agenda. And that's what we want to catch the trend and find this agenda and put ourselves in position to make sure that, you know, we can benefit and get ahead and make sure a wealthy family comes from us.
He's on fire. Bro, that's absolutely spot on. It's about the agenda. Okay. And we're going to break down some agendas later, but I want to get Andy Schekman on here. To me, Andy Schekman is my favorite guy to listen to when it comes to gold and silver. We're not gonna watch this whole video, but just kind of some of the highlights. This is entitled "My Last Warning to Gold and Silver Stackers."
Banks understand exactly what they're doing with inflation, and they understand exactly what gold is. But in order to kill that bird, along with all of the other birds relating to this new settlement status that the BIS is behind the most powerful bank in the world, it's setting the stage for a massive gold revaluation, which will not only allow you, as you've said many times, to survive, but also to potentially thrive. If I'm right, those few people who are holding gold will thrive. And when we talk about silver, look, let's not ignore silver. We'll talk more about it, but it is being wickedly accumulated by countries like India. I wouldn't forget about silver. It is not a tier one like gold, but it is also something that I believe should be characterized as strategic. And we're on the cusp of some very big things. And I think gold and silver and the dollar, those three things that we focus on, will have a profoundly different view. All three will in the coming months ahead.
M.I.M.S, maybe make it make sense about the reevaluation of gold and maybe break down what Andy talked about.
Yeah, so there are people who just understand the monetary system, the you know, and the model and what came out of Bretton Woods and everything that's taken place, and then where we are today. And then what he's saying is that because we're in such a pivotal time period where the monetary standard globally is being readjusted, and the international standard, the Bank of International Settlements, these institutions that make the rules, they have reevaluated gold as a tier one asset. And what that means is that it has zero risk associated to it. Now, it's very hard to talk about gold and not talk about silver. Now, you have people in certain groups who only love gold, and you have people who in certain groups only love silver, and you have some people in groups only love Bitcoin. But it's hard to not talk about all of them really in this reset, because we know that blockchain, physical silver, and gold are part of the money the new money system. And what he's saying is that it's not only an opportunity for you to preserve your wealth, okay, but it's also opportunity for you to literally thrive and live a lifestyle that you never could have imagined because you have the asset, not because you know that that's where it's going, because that's irrelevant. You know, knowledge is not power per se, it's applied knowledge that's power. So you can know that, you know, gold and silver are money and, you know, the monetary system is shifting over. But if you're just sitting back watching it, you know, it didn't benefit you from knowing. You're going to suffer the consequences of what's to come because you didn't take action. So what he's saying is for those who do have the asset, who do take action, if he's right, okay, you're not only going to preserve your wealth, but you're going to create mass. You could possibly thrive and create massive wealth in the process. And that's the same thing that we've been saying. The same time he mentioned India. Okay, India and China are buying up so much silver right now because they know what the future is and they know what's going on with solar panels. There's not that many silver mines out here. The silver to gold ratio is insane. The silver is massively undervalued. Actually, we're seeing some data where silver could be on a 1-to-1 ratio with gold. Okay, 1-to-1, 1-to-8. Okay, and so that's where the opportunity, you know, really lies. And that's what you want to have in these uncertain times, because we are in uncertain times. And if you don't have money, real money, physical silver and gold, you don't have anything. You have debt.
No, 100%, man. I mean, that was absolute fire. I gotta.
In the coming months ahead. But you could argue it's a very long fuse and it's been lit. How long before it hits the firecracker? Don't know. But it's not good for the dollar. It's not good at all for the dollar long term, because you now have legitimate alternatives, if this grows, that have not been around for the better part of over 50 years.
In today's episode.
So I love his t-shirt there, triple digit silver.
In its next leg. But this is one of those deals where, you know, if you haven't learned patience yet in this industry, you never will. And it teaches you to try and find optimism wherever you can. But indeed, I think, look, the global demand for silver is not stopping. It's just hard to see it and notice it here in the United States, where the public really has not participated as much as one would think in the rally. In fact, you could argue that it is as off the radar screen now as it's been in the last 3-4 years to the public. At the same time, the central banks like India are massively accumulating it. And the common theme with all of the accumulation we see by these central banks is repatriation. Now, I know more of that is applicable in gold, where India bought 1.5 times the amount of gold they did all of last year in the first 4 months, and brought it all home. At the same time, brought home 100 metric tons they've held at the Bank of England since 1991, I want to say.
So repatriation, guys, is where in the past, especially countries that were typically colonies or not as powerful as the United States or the Great Britain, would let other countries keep their gold because they trusted them. That's going away. Okay. So India said, hey, United Kingdom, thanks for holding on to our gold. We're going to go ahead and take delivery of that. This is exactly what happened when Nixon had to close the gold window in 1972. France and Germany said, hey, we were letting you hold our gold because, you know, the dollar was as good as gold. We don't believe you. We want our gold back. And that's when Nixon said, nope, sorry, we're going to go ahead and close the gold window. Just kidding. We're going to keep your gold. You can keep the dollars. So again, guys, we see this happening. And if you guys have ever watched this before, we talk about this all the time. Governments all around the world, banks all around the world are buying silver and gold more now than they ever have in the history of the world, because they pay attention to what is happening. And again, whether we do great or something bad happens in the future, I don't really care. All I know is the more physical gold and silver I have, the safer I am, the more secure I am, the more I'm prepared for the future or whatever happens.
Facts.
M.I.M.S.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
No, facts. Yeah, that was fire. And he talks about it, like he said as well. The fuse has been lit for a while. Who knows when, it actually will take off per se, but we're very close. But the thing about it is that the gold and silver community, those of us that have been saving in this asset, we still have the money. And in fact, our assets are worth even more. Now, what takes away the attractiveness of gold and silver is because they rig and manipulate the price down. They don't talk about it much because people are trying to chase get rich quick. They want massive gains. They want to get rich quick. Now, a lot of people have lost more trying to get rich quick than what they got trying to get, trying to get it. But if they had took that same amount of money that they put into trying to get rich quick and have saved it in silver and gold, not only would they be more financially secure, but their assets, are increasing in value. So this is why we say, this is a get wealthy slow. And the thing about where we are right now is that we're at that turning point in history and society. The time that we're in right now, it will be talked about for millennium, for thousands of years. That's how significant this time period. People don't really realize. Even when you go back and study the civics and everything of what's going on here in the United States, and you talk about what's going on globally and the emergence of BRICS and then COVID and then with the wars and then everything that seems biblical, in these times. These are the most significant times ever. It will be talked about and studied and researched and debated on for so long. And this is the time that you're living in. And this is why I was saying that if you have the right assets, you can make sure that literally generational wealth comes from you. And if you don't, you probably will get wiped out, or you'll be a slave in the new system.
Yep. Absolutely, brother.
Nailed it.
All right, so let's do a little shift here because I don't know if you saw this, M.I.M.S. I know you're busy a lot, but I had to go live yesterday, which I rarely do on my own, but I couldn't believe it, man. And Miguel, you asked about where we get our gold and silver. We have a brand new company, so if you're maybe know us from something else, we're no longer with that specific company because we found a way better place. So yesterday, the spot price of silver was $30.87. Okay, this is literally my live from yesterday. And where we are getting our silver from now had a special on Austrian silver harmonics and where's the Krugerrands? I like Krugerrands better. There we go. We were selling these M.I.M.S for $30 an ounce. Like, are you kidding me right now? Under spot.
Yeah. No, that's huge. Yeah. I hope people heard Mike say one more time in the back, because this has never been done before.
Yeah.
This is when we told you that we're doing something legendary in the precious metals space. This is something that no company has ever done before. Okay.
Bro, I've never seen this before. I've seen generic bullion close to spot. Maybe one time I remember at spot. But we're talking government issued from South Africa. Krugerrands. Okay, this is one of the top 5 most popular silver coins in the world. And typically you pay a higher premium for coins minted from a government because they're more respected, more established, more accepted all around the world. And to sell them under spot, 75 cents under spot?
Yeah.
Like,
that's huge.
I mean, it's crazy the deals we're getting on gold and silver. No one comes close. We've proven this. We have done daily price comparisons for 45 days in a row. We beat them by $4 to $8 all day, every day.
Yeah. No, this is huge. The thing about what this company is doing is that you guys are finding out about this early. I mean, this company is just launched. At Cost Metals just launched, and the value that they're bringing is very disruptive. Okay. I mean, think about all your other precious metal companies, your major online, the JMs, the SDs, the gold, silver.coms, the M.I.M.S. You know, when you have something so disruptive, it's like the Walmart moving into your local town, taking away all your jobs, getting rid of your little local mom and pop shops. You know, I mean, because, you know, they have the better value because they're able to get more or whatever it is. But this is, at-cost metals is so disruptive to be able to allow people to get physical silver and gold, no minimums, no maximums. And now they have specials where obviously Mike just showed you where we're getting silver and gold under spot. They have some gold options as well, under spot. Where they do that at? Only at cost metals. So imagine as other people realize this, as other people who are buying gold and silver from other places realize this, hold on, I could have saved $8 per coin. You know what I'm saying? I could have saved a few $100 when it came to my ounce of silver, even my bricks. Anywhere else I go to get these bricks, you're gonna pay about $300 more. Last time I checked, I want to save $300. That's $600 saved on 2 bricks. Okay, nobody's beating that cost metals. It's huge.
Yeah, and I wrote this down. Actually, hold on, let me cancel that. I wrote this down from doing it last night. So basically, with at cost metals compared to JM bullion, you buy 4 ounces of silver, you get 1 for free. So they were selling, JM bullion was selling those same coins, the Krugerrands, for $39 an ounce. So if you bought 4 of them from JM bullion, that'd be $156. You could buy 5 of them from at cost metals for $150. 5 times 30 is 150. So you literally got an ounce for free if you get the right membership.
That's huge, folks. And one thing to sweeten it up, you know, add icing on the cake. The only way that you can get access to those prices is by finding somebody who's already a member and them giving you their referral code so you can become a member. Because you can't go straight to At Cost Metals website and go get bullion at those prices. You have to have the membership. And the only way you get that is from somebody else who already has the membership. And the reason that is because At Cost Metal wants to reward the members who share their membership with other people. So now, I mean, that's like a boom. A bomb just dropped for me. Because I'm like, this is massive. And the only way people can take advantage of this is through somebody who already is a member and that has a code. And obviously you can see how disruptive this is, how much value that is. Literally, you know, creating your own niche, separating themselves from the competition, adding so much value, and then being able to, you know, create a reward members for sharing is huge. Literally, this is, you know, going to be the biggest precious metals company on the planet that ever existed. Nobody can beat this model right now, and I don't see how else they can, because we're at spot, and then we have some coins below spot, and they have the most lucrative membership share plan I've ever seen.
And that is how you turn pain and fear into power and growth. Okay. If the dollar collapses, something bad happens, guess what has been around for 10,000 years? Silver and gold. Guess what you need? Cash flow. Guess what you want? To pay less taxes. So whether everything continues like it has for 10,000 years or something bad happens, you have turned that pain and fear into power and growth because you kept your head. You created more cash flow, right? You helped more people get real money versus, you know, running around like a chicken with your head cut off and, you know, blah, 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 blah. But I want to transition here, M.I.M.S. We got to talk about some crypto.
Let's go.
All right. So gold and silver, tried and tested, true, 10,000 years, doesn't matter. War, famine, craziness. It's been here. It'll always be here. It's God's money. Let's make some gains, guys. Let's learn how to make money now. Okay, gold and silver, long-term play, long-term mindset. All right, so I'm excited to watch this, M.I.M.S. We've been waiting to share this or to even watch it. All right, so this is a new Bitcoin documentary, guys. If you are not buying Bitcoin every day, I'm just going to say it. I'm going to be honest. You're crazy. You are absolutely crazy. You are not buying Bitcoin every day. I don't care if it's $1. And Mims, a lot of people don't know this. You can buy $1
Yes.
of Bitcoin
Yes.
every day.
That's true. A
Just
lot
do
of
that.
people do not know that you can buy fractions of cryptocurrency. You don't have to have the whole, what is it, 60, 55,000, whatever it is right now.
And before we watch this video, because I think it's going to be chilling, I would challenge you guys. If you have any sort of habit or bad thing, whatever you spend on that bad habit, spend it on Bitcoin. If you go to fast food, okay, if you go out and party, if you go out and buy Amazon whatever stuff, $100 at a time. If you do something like that, buy 10% of whatever you spent on Bitcoin. Okay, and in the end, you're going to be better off. All right, so let's watch this. I'm excited.
Dollar will dramatically lose its purchasing power. The more they print, the more it gets diluted. Who it's good for is the people at the tippy top.
Because in order to keep the system going, they have to keep printing money.
And Bitcoin is that tool that allows us to beat the money printer.
Bitcoin is powerful in a way that is money that does not discriminate.
Bitcoin is built by the people for the people.
We're in a phased transition of society. It's more than a financial revolution.
Government fiat.
Girl, I'm getting goosebumps. Are you? This is fire. This is fire.
I love it.
Currency is not just money. It steals from the poor and gives it to the rich.
If you don't have the choice of how you spend or save your money, you don't live in a free society.
If you have cell phones and smartphone, you can have your bank with you everywhere.
You can be anywhere in the world and there's an ability to transfer it or use it. That's a huge advantage.
And that's why I think that the magic of the Bitcoin is.
I'm excited for the future of Bitcoin because we're just really beginning to understand the advantages of it.
Bitcoin economically arms everybody.
Bitcoin is a means to fight tyranny, to fight corruption.
A central bank can be a place of great mischief.
My perspective is that Bitcoin does fix everything.
Bitcoin does represent freedom.
Bitcoin is truth.
Anyone can be a part of the Bitcoin economy. It's like a good church.
Because it's an ethical ideology, there are many people that feel very spiritual about it.
I think that Bitcoin has those characteristics to be not just the most Islamic form of money, but the most Jewish and the most Christian form of money as well.
Bitcoin is just another step in the technological development of how we can serve God better.
It is trying to remove politics from money.
Bitcoin can make the world a better place.
And there's nothing you can do to stop it.
Wow.
Hey, that was a fire intro, man. That was a fire. That thing's hot.
Woo!
Yeah.
I get excited.
Yeah, that was hot.
You want to give the first hot take here, Mims?
No, I'm gonna let you take it, brother, with the Bitcoin
All
shirt.
Right. Yeah, that's true. All right, so guys, when I got into crypto, okay, it was not about money. It was not about getting rich. It was about liberty and freedom. I came to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency because I was a history, government, economics teacher. I was a huge libertarian. I knew that both parties were dirty. I knew that our government was corrupt as all could be. And unless we fix our money and debt, nothing will change. Okay? I don't care if we get the greatest Republicans and the greatest Democrats. We all know what they're going to do. They're going to continue to create dollars that causes inflation, that causes war, that causes poverty, that causes struggling. The only way to escape this is to get real, true money. There is no way around it. Okay? If you're a Republican, we could put all Republicans into the House, Senate, and President. I guarantee you in 4 years, maybe things are a little bit better. They're not going to fix the problem. Okay? And I loved how they talked about all races, all religions, all people, all countries coming together, because we all know it's the people versus the wealthy, rich, and elite that keep us in slavery no matter where we're at. Okay. You live in America, you're a slave. I'm sorry to break this to you if you didn't know, but here we are, Mem. So your take on it.
That was I'm bullish on blockchain, and
Mhm.
you can't ignore the first major cryptocurrency on the blockchain, which is Bitcoin, and it's not going anywhere. And so I think that everybody should have a diversified portfolio, and it has to consist of some Bitcoin. The same way you should have some metal, but as far as digital assets, Bitcoin is one of those digital assets that you have to have in your portfolio. And it's because of blockchain technology. And, so we're bullish on, what Bitcoin allows us to do and the blockchain allows us to do. And so, we got the Bitcoin documentary. Mike, you also sent me the XRP documentary. And so, I'm more bullish on that. But you cannot take away that this is a finite digital asset that has value, that can, transcend borders, that, it can instantly be sent, and all the other benefits of blockchain technology. And, one of the major key things that you can't ignore about blockchain and Bitcoin is the awareness that it brings to people about the financial system. If you see in that introduction, they talked about how the governments print more money, and the devaluation of the money, inflation. These are concepts and things that people didn't really consider. They didn't really care. They're like, long as I go to work and I got some money, I can pay my bills and eat, I'm good. But more people are becoming more economically and politically and aware. And that's one thing that the crypto space does, because it is in the money, it is in the financial sector. It forces people to become more informed, more educated about the monetary system and how it works. And that's what makes Bitcoin shine, because it is literally the opposite of that. It is empowering. It is giving people opportunity. And that's what got me into the crypto space, was the opportunity to make gains and change my life financially, where I wasn't an accredited investor. I couldn't get into real projects that had real solutions in the real world and get in early, pre-IPO. I couldn't get into the traditional financial sector and really win, right? But I saw that opportunity with blockchain and crypto. And when you understand the monetary system, and then you understand the benefits of blockchain and Bitcoin and crypto, then you'll see that this is your ticket. This is your opportunity. This is the way for you to be able to do something that in the traditional system you couldn't have done.
No, 100%. I want to encourage you guys again. Okay. There's a big difference between Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Okay. So can you make more money with altcoins or a crypto other than Bitcoin? Of course. Okay. But again, Bitcoin is number one. It's the most tried and true. And this really resonated with me this week, Mems. And a lot of people don't understand this. They just think, oh, Bitcoin's backed by nothing. Oh, there's 10,000 other cryptocurrencies. Guys, this is about decentralization of power. Okay. Something that cannot be stopped. So, what is the most powerful computer network? So, when somebody says Bitcoin's backed by nothing, I just say,
come on, man.
Yeah, that's not true.
They have no idea.
Yeah, that's not necessarily true. No, not at all. That's not correct. You don't say that. That's not something you should say.
Well, again, they're uneducated. We got to help them all wherever they're at. But Bitcoin is backed by the largest computer network in the history of the world. A network orders of magnitude larger than the combined size of the clouds that Amazon, Google, and Microsoft have built in the last 15 to 20 years. Just stop and think about that. Okay. Even if you know Bitcoin, you've also in cryptocurrency. Stop and think about that. The Bitcoin network is more powerful than Google, Amazon, and Microsoft combined. And you're telling me you think it's a scam? You're telling me, oh, I don't know how to buy it. I just don't get it all. You don't know how your car works or your toaster or an FM radio, yet you use them all the time. Okay. You need to start buying Bitcoin every single day. I don't care if it's $1 or 50 cents. You can buy it on Cash App. Okay. You can buy it on Venmo. You can buy it on PayPal. You can actually get a real exchange and learn how to use cryptocurrency and DeFi like we teach you guys all the time. Mims, I am, again, just whether everything keeps going as normal or we have some crazy internet, crazy outage. Again, Bitcoin can be sent over radio waves. Okay. So Mims, your point of just how people have got to get educated and continue to take that fear and turn it into power.
Yeah, once you understand this, you have a little more peace about what's going on. And this is, this is what we found. And we know we're in the right, direction. Because you'll listen to other people who are smarter than us, who are more wealthy than us, who understands the tech even better than us. And they're essentially, we're saying what they're saying, and this is, the opportunity that, something of Bitcoin's nature and these opportunities, like I said before, the average person wouldn't be able to get into it. This is why the SEC was suing Ripple. This is something so valuable, so revolutionary, cross-border payments and everything's going to do. They tried to say that they were selling unregistered securities, and they're saying that because we were able to get it, that was an issue, so this is how disruptive, this technology is. But yeah, Mike, I agree with you, of course, 100% that everybody should be diversifying and saving in cryptocurrency. I mean, we show people how to, set up automatic recurring buys for Bitcoin and Ethereum and other cryptos, even in your crypto.com, just a reoccurring buy every week. It should be on automatic. I mean, you should be saving your money on a consistent basis, and you should have a portion of that money also going into investments. Your investments are in crypto, some risk, right? But more risk, reward, greater reward. Your savings, zero risk, but it still appreciates, is in precious metals, physical gold, and silver. And that's the play.
Yep.
That's the play.
Keep it simple.
The only other thing that we would recommend is learn how to trade as well, because that could be a benefit, that we talk about. But yeah, physical silver, physical gold, get in Bitcoin, XRP, XLM, certain, digital assets that have real world use case, because that's what I look for. A lot of people like the meme coins, and people going to gamble, and that's fine. But you want to look at the projects that are dealing with institutions, that are dealing with governments, because when you're looking at any opportunity out here, if they don't have volume, activity, customers, or like if nobody's using their blockchain, if they're not partnered with, it's not going to go anywhere. Yeah. So
I got to give a Don DeMarco to Abdullah. This is cracking me up. You still have people thinking the car is not going to take over. They still riding horses. Yeah, that's people that can't grasp Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, blockchain are the people, who didn't want to use cars and keep using horses. Like, it's crazy, man.
Well, it's like people didn't want to use plastic
credit cards. Yeah.
MasterCard and Visa, people didn't want to do that. They were used to cash and checks. They didn't want digital. But now everybody has plastic, MasterCard, Visa in their wallet, So the sooner you adjust to this change, though, the more profitable for you.
And Miguel, we do not do Forex education because Forex is essentially giving, I mean, you can make money with it.
Yeah.
No shade, but you're giving power to your master that has enslaved you. So I don't want to do that.
I like the idea of trading assets than trading debt. So we'll trade crypto, we'll trade digital assets, and then at the end of the day, when we settle, we're still sitting on digital assets. Now, if I'm trading debt, at the end of the day, I'm still sitting on debt, because that's what fiat currency is. Forex, fiat currency, you're making money on the debt, on the fiat. But no, I don't like stocks. I don't like Forex. I think that's old money system. We're looking ahead in the future, and we're dealing with, digital assets, crypto and gold and silver, physical assets. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, guys, we do all this in the Runners Facebook group in our free school. This is a trade I took this week that I put out. Okay, near 31%. Nothing crazy. Okay, but again, we teach you how to be safe, do stop losses, take profit stuff. So if you guys want to learn about anything we talked about tonight, gold, silver, mindset, cryptocurrency, how to trade it, DeFi, just look down below beneath this video wherever you're watching and join our free school, absolutely free. Anytime I buy something, I put it in there. And I got one going right now that's about at 15% as well. But I want to get into this, Mims. Just a little heads up of how crazy the world's getting. I think we're going to do this at the end of every live, okay? Not getting political, but want to make you aware. I think the rigging of this next election has already happened. Elon Musk has really been speaking out about this. So electronic voting machines and anything mailed is too risky. We should mandate paper ballots and in-person voting only. And he kind of posted how Microsoft Windows powers some U.S. touchscreens voting systems, causing concern among security experts. Now, this isn't 2020. This was in 2016. The dismal state of America's decade-old voting machines. And again, 2015, and Wired is a more left-wing organization. So it was only when Orange Man came in and said, maybe we should look at election integrity. But this has been, and I go back to Bush v. Gore. Like, I've been studying this forever. Okay, here's from the Times. What we found was disturbing, Haldeman said in June 2017 Senate Intelligence Committee hearing. We could reprogram the machine to invisibly cause any candidate to win. We also created malicious software, vote stealing code, that could spread from machine to machine like a computer virus and silently change the election outcome. And again, this is from 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. So again, guys, I don't care what your views are, left wing, right wing, whatever, centrist. We need to make sure that our upcoming election is secure. Okay.
Yeah.
And again, here's Joe Rogan explains the border crisis. Open the border to the third world, give them aid-free housing, oppose racist voter ID laws, rig it so they're actually, I'm going to let you hear them vote. Hold on, let me pull this up, and you guys need to hear this audio because obviously I think where you get your information from is very important. And I think Joe Rogan, love him or hate him, is a great guy to at least get some perspective from. So I want to hear from Joe Rogan here.
Like when you start thinking about it like that, that sounds like a conspiracy theory, but it's like totally political, all these moves.
100%.
Yeah.
They're literally importing Democratic voters.
Yeah.
They think by allowing the borders to be porous and by giving people aid and giving people housing that you're essentially guaranteeing that if you can rig it so that those people are allowed to vote, those people are going to vote Democratic. And if you could say that, oh, voter ID is racist, like, what? Voter ID is
That's
racist?
crazy. They think that.
But
they don't think that. They don't think that. They know that that's not true.
It's horseshit.
Yeah.
It's all political horseshit.
Like when you start thinking about it like that, that sounds like a conspiracy.
Yeah. So M.I.M.S, I mean, that's kind of where we're at here is we could maybe another election stolen. I don't know. But I know I'm going to win. I can survive another 4 years of Biden. I feel bad for people who can't. I feel bad for that Walmart order that we saw at the beginning. Instead of $400, it'll be $800.
Yeah.
But this is why, people need to run with the runners.
Well, I think that we should have voting on the blockchain. I think maybe we should have mail-in, do in-person ballots and like Elon Musk said. But at the same time, I don't want anybody to be subject or their lifestyle contingent upon who's in office. Right. That's the problem in the first place. You should put yourself in position where it doesn't matter who's in office, because that's how some people live, because they're that wealthy. They're that diversified. They're that legally structured properly to where they're operating out of their private trust or their private foundation, where they have multiple passports in different, jurisdictions, and, they have land and that's what we talk about. That's what we want. Yes, it does matter. And the truth is, not everybody's going to be able to put themselves in that position. That is true too. But for those who have the eyes to see and the ears to hear and are willing to take the action, that's the outcome that we want for ourselves and we want for everybody else, to where it won't matter. Because where there's tyranny in one place, there's going to be freedom and opportunity in another. Okay, that's the yin and yang. You can't have all bad and no good, and you can't have all good and no bad. And you want to put yourself in position to have options. And that's why we talk about having real assets, physical silver and gold, regardless of what goes on in this economy. This is why we talk about getting these digital assets, because of the use case and because of where the global economy is moving and with blockchain. And so that's, my ultimate goal: having land outside the United States, having, being able to have different jurisdictions, on different passports, and obviously operating out of your own foundation, your own trust. Not being subject to all the tyranny that can come to those who are operating under their registered organization.
And I'm going to push back a little from Brian about voting never changed nothing. I get where you're coming from, my man. I was a history teacher. Voting gave us Woodrow Wilson in 1912, who created the IRS and the Federal Reserve and took us to World War I. Voting gave us FDR, who started Social Security, who got us into World War II. Voting, actually, I'm sorry, not voting, but JFK getting killed gave, actually, at least Lyndon B. Johnson, LBJ, was the vice president of Kennedy. He started the Great Society. He started the Vietnam War. Voting gave us the first George Bush, got us into the first Middle East war with Iran and Iraq. Then we got George W. Bush, that had 9/11, that had a 20-year war then in the Middle East. So you can say it doesn't matter, but it does, right? Elections have consequences. And the last thing we're going to leave with you guys tonight, because you got to know this. I don't care if you're a Democrat. I have lots of Democrat friends. I would love to, we love to just talk about issues and policies. But you guys have to be aware that, again, it's election season. The Democrats are just making up lies that are just out from left field. Okay. And again, if you're more liberal or on the left, no worries. We still love you guys. But just understand that I'm seeing a lot of my Democrat friends just post complete nonsense, complete lies. So Project 2025 is essentially the Heritage Foundation. It's a right-wing think tank. This was basically their thing of hey, if we win in 2024, this is what we want to do in 2025. I don't agree with everything they said, but to be clear, Trump has not endorsed them. Trump has not said, this is what I'm going to do.
Nope.
But Joe Biden campaign bought the domain trumpproject2025.com in an effort to deceive voters into thinking Trump was behind the 900-page Project 2025 paper. And then he actually shared the fake website on X. And so now this is why I'm seeing Democrats and it's crazy stuff like Project 2025 wants to end Medicaid and what else do they say? End Medicaid, end Social Security, ban gay marriage, I mean, it's just wild, man. Ban abortion, a national thing on abortion. If you believe, certain things on the left, that's fine. But just make sure you're not repeating this lie that's just absolutely crazy.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of misinformation and a lot of one thing they do know how to do is they know how to move the masses of people through social engineering.
Yep.
And they'll get you behind, whether it's Occupy Wall Street or Tea Party or Black Lives Matter or all these things that come up out of nowhere. And then later on we found out that it's not really what it was, and the money didn't go to where we thought it was going to go, and it's all this and that. So yeah, you have to be careful. But no, Trump has not endorsed that. This is something that, like I said before, these different entities and institutions, they come out with agendas. And just because that's something that they presented doesn't mean that that's what's going to necessarily take place. But that is based on the environment that we see. That's their solution to the problems that we're having. But that doesn't mean that that is what it is going to be. That's just the agenda that they have. But like Mike said, that's not something that Trump has endorsed and is going to do.
Yeah, and again, if you're a Democrat, you're on the left, you probably disagree with Project 2025. That's fine. But just make sure you actually understand what they're proposing and don't just look at a bunch of memes and lies that you see people post and repost it. Okay, we want to stop the spread of disinformation. We can disagree on policy or how we move forward, but at least let's be honest with each other, right? Let's have a free and fair election and debate ideas. So as we close tonight, guys, again, we want to make sure that you turn this pain and fear, which is going to ratchet up. They're going to turn it up. It's election season. Okay, let's hopefully they don't do what they did last time and spread some pandemic all over. All right, but knock on wood. But turn that pain and fear into power and growth. And we talked about this earlier, M.I.M.S, right? Like the beginning of the pandemic and silver going down to $12 is how the runner started. So you got to learn to celebrate any pain, any fear, anything that negative comes into your life. Celebrate it, embrace it. You will not grow and get better unless you have that fear and pain and heartache and something negative happen. So no matter what happens, good, bad, or ugly, we're going to keep winning. We want to see the same for you guys. M.I.M.S, your last take tonight.
Hey, catch you guys on the next live stream. We're fired up and excited. We're documenting this collapse. We go live once a week and we put out more and more content information. We're documenting this. You're going to look back and, we'll look back 6 months, 12 months. You're going to look back and, what were you doing? Who were you listening to? What action did you take? What were you aware of the whole time? And you just, didn't do anything versus us who the whole time we stacking. We get more crypto. We get more assets. It doesn't stop. I got a whole table here. I mean, bricks on bricks on bricks, just more bricks, just more bricks. And it's not we want the same for you. We know what's coming. The other people are warning you. They're telling you what's coming. This is the time. There you go, Mike. Let's get it.
Stack up those MS70s, baby. Stack them, stack them, stack them. Keep stacking. Real money, baby.
Yep.
All right, guys. Brian, Miguel, Abdullah, everyone, again, like this, share it out, tag some people, send it to your friends, guys. We are shadow banned. Facebook is deleting everything we do. My live yesterday about silver was deleted for spam. There's haters out there. So unless you guys are sharing this information actively, people aren't going to find out about it, okay? The powers that be, big tech, do not want average, ordinary people to hear this information.
Yeah.
You can look at naked girls. You can look at naked girls on TikTok and Instagram all day long.
Yeah.
No problem with that.
Yeah.
But the second you try to tell people the truth, nope, banned.
Hawk 2 goes viral, but information that we're sharing, now that won't go viral. But that's another good point, Mike. There's not a lot of, if you listening to us and people who are downloading this information, there's not a lot of people that's sharing this information the way we're going to share it. I'm out here. I'm on all the social media sites. There's only a handful of people who really understand what's going on and that can articulate what's going on, and then also provide you a solution, an avenue in a way to actually execute a strategy to benefit from that information that you've now learned. Even when you look at those major platforms where people are speaking, they're speaking, it sounds good, but not too many people talking about physical silver and gold. Even when I look at Earn Your Leisure or some other people, they talk about stocks. So they're talking about real estate and, that's fine, but you're not talking about crypto and gold and silver at the same time. I put a post out today and I honestly believe this, and I'm ready for all the smoke, and I'll debate anybody who has a platform and they're not recommending or they don't have a solid gold and silver player opportunity for their audience. They're doing them a disservice. You know, either they just don't know or they just don't care or whatever it is. But if you don't have a solid gold and silver play that your audience is aware of and that you're helping them get physical silver and gold, you're doing them a disservice.
Yeah. Guys,
Yeah.
keep it simple. Buy silver and gold once a month. I don't care how small it is. Buy Bitcoin every day or every week. I don't care how small it is. Okay. It's time in the market. It's not timing the market. And again, free SKOOL link. Miguel, you're on Facebook. Look down below in the description of Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're at. The SKOOL link for the free runners is there. Anyone is welcome to join. And Abdullah, appreciate you, brother. Everybody know I get silver. Go with my brother. I'm passing that message also. That's what it's about, guys. We need to decentralize everything, especially money. We do that with gold and silver and Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies because they can't control these things because they're zero risk assets in our own possession or they're decentralized with the world's biggest computer network that they can't stop.
Yeah, I didn't show you this, Mike, but I had this.
And we on fire tonight, bro. We on fire.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
This is a 5 ounce.
dang,
5 ounce
son.
real
Hold on.
money.
Let me minimize myself here. People got to see that. Oh,
Yeah.
now it's big.
Yeah. That thing is beautiful.
Yeah, baby.
You know, I had a conversation with somebody earlier, and they don't like Donald Trump for nothing. But they understood that Donald Trump was crypto friendly. And I had to explain to that person that people vote based on their interests. And if Donald Trump is going to make you a multimillionaire because he's crypto friendly and that's going to be bullish for your assets and allow you to change your life, it's irrelevant if you think he's racist or not.
Nope.
You want to, in my opinion, you would want to put in the person that is going to help change your life, right? And make your life better. And if you have the assets that are undervalued, that president is saying that he's going to legitimize and make more valuable and recognize, that is going to be good for you, And a lot of people are one voter or one issue voters.
One issue, yeah.
A lot of people are one issue voters. You know what I mean? So if that one issue is a make or break for them. So, you can imagine the crypto community and you have one party who's for crypto and one who isn't, and where are people going to go? But now what happens to those people who are in crypto and the value of their assets and how their lives are changed financially? So fire show tonight. Man.
Fire, bro.
Yeah.
Like
fire.
We could probably go another hour. We got to get
yeah.
ready to do some traveling.
Yeah.
We're going to be putting out mad content for you guys this week. So get ready to just learn how to win, guys. Turn that pain or that fear and pain into power and win.